Hi guys, I'm the Infamous, and today we're going to be taking a look at Lycaon's W engines, cinemas, teams, and more. Now I'll have chapters so you guys can skip to a part you guys like, but I'd recommend watching the whole way through just to make sure you guys are getting the best out of your Lycaon. Now with that out of the way, let's get right into the video. When it comes to Lycaon, he's one of the few standard banner units that we actually have in the game. So for W engines, he actually has pretty good free to play substitutes. When we look at his signature, you guys can either get this right now during anniversary, or you guys can save for it in the signal shop, so it is completely free. When you guys are attacking a unit with your basic attacks, which is the best way to do it for Lycaon since that's where you get most of his days anyway, you guys will get an additional 30 days max stacked. So this is actually just pretty self-explanatory. His basics are his best part of his kit, so if you guys can make max use of it, it is great. Now if you guys do not have this and you guys have Koleda signature, this will do. It gives a solid amount of impact as well as energy regen when off field, meaning you guys can proc more skills. More skills means more impact. Very consistent, very good. Now again, if you guys can pick between the two during anniversary, or you guys are thinking about buying it in the signal shop, obviously pick his signature, is going to be very consistent and very good for his basic attacks, which again is the best way for him to proc a stun in the first place. So I'd obviously recommend the restrain, but if you don't have that, Hellfire gear should be solid. Now a completely free to play option you guys can craft is the steam oven, and I would recommend this if you guys do not have either option and do not want to pick it. Now you guys can get a solid amount of energy and impact when using a EX special, so it is completely free, not too difficult, pretty simple, pretty free to play friendly. You guys can craft it up to max stacks, so it's not hard at all. Again, if I had to pick a priority, I would definitely recommend restrained first, second Hellfire gear, and then steam oven. Up to you guys, but I would definitely recommend going for a signature if you guys have the opportunity to do so. When it comes to Lycaon's builds, I'm very happy to say that there's actually two viable ways in which you guys can build him. One of them requires a brand new set that I think a lot of people will actually like if you guys like stun characters. First off, the new set is going to give 6% days, which is very useful to build up the stun in the first place. So if you guys can, try to at least get the 2-piece, and then whenever you guys use an EX special or chain attack, you guys can get your team 30% crit damage as long as you guys have 50% crit rate or higher on your Lycaon. Now obviously this is going to be very useful. I don't really have to explain how good this is because I mean, anybody that plays with stun agents basically knows that they're glorified support characters, and the fact that we're getting more support for our teammates is going to be very nice to see. Now the 2-piece is also very self-explanatory. Impact is going to be very useful because once you guys do stun the enemy, obviously you guys are going to want it to last a little longer, so having this provided with the days is going to be very nice. Now another viable build you guys could do is actually just run 2-piece King of Summit and then 4-piece Shock Star instead, because whenever you use a basic attack, dodge counter, and dash attacks, you guys will actually inflict 20 more days. And like I was saying earlier, his basic attacks are his main way of providing days, so just being able to daze quicker is actually very viable on this character. Now again, it depends on what you guys prefer more. If you guys want shorter uptime on field, obviously Shock Star is going to be better because if you guys stun quicker, you guys don't need him as often, right? But this 4-piece, if you guys have very consistent uptime with his EX specials or even chain attacks, the crit damage is very, very good. So honestly, you guys can go either way with this character because the unique part about Lycaon is that when he's stunning, you actually use his basic attacks a lot. So honestly, go with whatever you guys have better substats in. Speaking of substats, when we start taking a look at what you guys actually want to put on your Lycaon, it's pretty self-explanatory, especially if you guys are going to be running 4-piece King of Summit. Because of the fact that we're going to want 50% crit rate or higher, we're going to try to get as much crit rate and crit damage as possible. Now, as long as you guys get 50% crit rate, you guys do not need to go any higher just because at that point you guys are overcapping on the passive. So what I'd personally recommend is try to go for more crit damage just so that when you guys do crit, you guys are going to be doing more damage. Now, even if you guys aren't running 4-piece King of Summit, I'd still recommend using the same stat line just because of the fact that with Shock Star, you're still going to want to be on field to proc your extra days. So if you guys could make use of the damage bonus and things like that while being on field, it's way better than something like survivability, just because if you guys can dodge, you guys are not going to get hit anyway. When it comes to main stats, I'd recommend going for crit rate as your main piece just because of the fact that unless you guys have god crit rate subs, you guys are not going to have enough crit rate to get this 4-piece up. Now when it comes to your disc 5, you guys are going to want ice damage just because of the fact that he's an ice damage character. Unfortunately I have physical damage, but you know, it is what it is. And then on disc 6, go for impact percent just because of the fact that when you guys do stun, you guys wanted to survive longer. Pretty self-explanatory. Go for crit rate on every single thing just so you guys can get your stat line. Ideally your Lycaon should look something like this. When it comes to Lycaon cinemas, the best way I can put it is he's got a very wonky kit to say the least, especially towards the heavier side of investment. So pretty unfortunate to see from this guy. Cinema 1 is very good. His EX special will have extra days, which is very useful because it actually makes your 4-piece King of Summit even more viable. If you guys are going to be running that over the other 4-piece, then you guys will be very happy because not only you guys are getting extra days from the EX special, but now you guys are getting crit damage. So again, very nice Cinema 1. Now Cinema 2, every single time you guys do a chain attack, you guys will gain 5% energy. Or not 5%, my bad, 5 energy. Now this can trigger once every 1 second, so basically no delay. You know, you guys can just back-to-back chain attack and get 10 energy. Pretty cool, pretty nice. Small, but very convenient buff. And then this is where I feel like his kit becomes very weird. Every single time you guys do a basic attack or special, you guys will actually gain a shield, 7.5% of his max HP. Now, when you guys have this shield up, you guys will get an anti-interrupt increased, which is very sweet, but realistically, as long as you guys dodge counter, or even if you guys use his skill, midway when using his skill, you guys have invulnerability frames, so this shield is basically useless, and it only provides a shield. There's quite literally no buff to his shield other than the anti-interrupt. So, unfortunately, it's just very weak. And it's only his shield, it's not towards the team, so again, pretty wonky. Now, this is why I feel like it's even worse, because if it was just the 4th giving survivability by itself, that'd be cool. The Cinema 6 just makes it so much worse, because every single time you guys do a charged attack, you guys will make the enemy suffer 10% more damage. This can stack up to 5 times, meaning 50% more damage for Lycaon. And with his Cinema 4, you guys are getting survivability. There is no damage bonus. So what are we going to build? Full HP so he gets a bigger shield, or are we going to build full DPS for this Cinema 6? It's so weird and inconvenient, especially when you guys consider the fact that on his skill, you guys are getting invulnerability frames, so there's no point in the anti-interrupt. And dodge counters exist, so you guys don't need the basic attack bonus. Like, this is quite literally useless, and that's why I feel like it's super wonky. This is the first time I've said this for any character, but this is the first time I feel like it's genuinely useless to go anything above a 2 on this character. When taking a look at Lycaon's teams, I think it's very, very nice because of the fact that he's one of the few standard banner units that actually just aged like fine wine because of the new characters that came out. If we guys take a look at his core skill, he will be giving ice damage res to quite literally anybody as long as he's, you know, providing a EX special or follow-up. Now, because of that, if you guys take a look over here, Miyabi's a frost character that's getting buffed, Ellen is a frost character getting buffed, and Hugo is a frost character getting buffed. That is 3 of some of the best DPSs in the game. So the fact that Lycaon is supporting them is self-explanatory. I don't have to explain how good that is. Now, the fact is, there's also a completely free-to-play team you guys could make because of him. Sokaku is an ice DPS, or sorry, ice support, and then Lycaon's an ice stun. So if you guys pair that with somebody like Miyabi, even if she doesn't benefit as much because she doesn't have an anomaly agent, which she prefers, she still gets huge buffs. And if you guys are running him with Hugo or Ellen, they will be benefiting greatly. That's a completely free-to-play team other than the 2 that you're going to be running with her. So again, it's like, that's insane. If you guys really want a free-to-play team, Lycaon provides that for you along with Sokaku. He's very good, and again, very universal for quite literally any frost unit. Now, outside of that, I don't really think he's that crazy. I mean, there's better stunners, right? There's Trigger, there's Poltra, and she's also a free-to-play character. There's a lot of characters that are going to be better than Lycaon in regards to just stunning overall, right? But when it comes to ice damage, he is the best, and there is no substitute. So again, the fact that there's Miyabi, Hugo, and Ellen definitely does help, but Lycaon is benefiting greatly from that, and I would definitely recommend building a team that consists of either a frost DPS and Sokaku as a support, or at the very least you guys have Lycaon as a stun unit that's able to provide a lot of value because of the 4-piece King of Summit. Up to you guys, but max damage, go with a frost DPS with him. Very, very nice. When it comes to Lycaon's combos, I think he's a very simple character to go over just because of the fact that most of his days actually just comes from basic attacking. So again, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I'll try to go over it as best as I can. 1, you guys can choose to do a regular basic attack simply by left clicking, auto attacking, nothing to it, and you guys will apply physical days. Now, if you guys so choose, you guys can actually enhance it and make it infused with ice, which is almost always going to be better because not only are we applying more days, but we're also doing anomaly buildup, which if you guys are using him with somebody like Miyabi, you guys are going to want that just because of the fact that she can actually disorder off of it, which is good for her passive. Now, in that case, all you guys have to do to proc it is simply hold your left trigger. That's simple. Now we have ice anomaly buildup, and we're applying more days than normal. So honestly, there's no world in which you guys aren't going to want to charge your basic attack. There's really no sense in not choosing to, other than you guys just have 99 days applied to the enemy and you guys simply want to get in. Other than that, there's no world in which you guys don't want to charge it. When it comes to this EX special, it's also very self-explanatory because you guys can simply hold it or again just click it. It's pretty simple because in most cases you guys are gonna want to hold it, but I'll try to explain it. Pretty simple too. This is how it's EX special if you guys just click it, and if you guys choose to hold it, you guys do an uppercut. So it's pretty cool to see, but again, in most cases, you guys are actually going to want to hold it just because of the fact that, one, you're applying more days, and two, you guys actually get invulnerability frames from doing so. So if you guys can abuse more iframes, there's really no point in not doing it. The only real reason why you guys wouldn't choose to is because of the fact that, one, you have so much days built up on the enemy that if you guys just, you know, EX special one time without charging it, you guys will actually save energy. In that case, I see it fine, but in most cases, you guys are just going to want to hold it down anyway. Again, up to you guys. It depends on your scenario, but in most cases, just hold your EX special because there's no real loss into it. When taking a look at Lycaon's ultimate, it's going to be very nice to, you know, apply days, but it won't be as consistent as simply doing your basic attacks. One, it's because you're not always going to have your ultimate, but two, because of the fact that you doing your basic attacks is actually going to be a very, very good way of applying days in general, just because of the fact that it's his highest multipliers. So again, pretty good, but not as good. Now, like I was saying earlier, anytime you guys stun an enemy with Lycaon and you guys do a chain attack, you guys will actually be able to benefit off of having ice damage on the enemy. So right here, it went from 150 to 185 on the damage multiplier for your enemy. And that's for every single frost agent in the game. As you guys can see, it goes back down to 150 and just drops down. But with Lycaon providing the extra ice damage, you're borderline doing 2 times more damage when your enemy is stunned. That is very solid, and that's all coming from just a simple chain attack and ultimate that you guys can combo. Very nice to see, very simple, but honestly, Lycaon is just that simple. There's not really much to it, and his ultimate's, you know, pretty nice to look at. So again, just try to combo well with your ice DPSs, and you guys should be completely fine. Now that I've got the kit part of the way, I mean, he's a pretty simple character. There really wasn't too much to explain, but hopefully you guys can understand a little bit more, right? Now that I've shown you guys though, I will show you guys some gameplay of how he actually works in game and how he works with your DPSs in, you know, a real situation. Now I do this for every video, but you know, I always enjoy it every single time. So I'm going to show you guys some gameplay in Deadly Assault.
喉を噛みつぶしますよ。
我が気を逃さず。やっさやっファイト見せる。
イエスマスター。
混沌を断ち切る。
希望の鐘、私は歌う。
終わりにしましょう。
天網開会。
悪直残。
畳みかけます。
終わりだ。受けてた。やっ
Hi guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm sorry if my voice is a little down. I stayed up till 8 and 9 in the morning just to be recording this. It's, pretty stupid on my part, but, I want to try to edit this video as early as possible just so I can get it out, I really do appreciate the support, guys. I really do. I'm working on a Yishuan video, so if you guys are looking forward to that, there you guys go. Hopefully I won't be recording that one at, 8 in the morning. My brain's fried, I'm not gonna lie. But thank you guys for supporting me. I really do appreciate it. We're almost at 700 subs. That is fucking ridiculous. I'm being serious now. That is actually crazy because just like 2 weeks ago I was at 600. You guys are insane. Thank you guys so much for the support. I hope that this video helps those that are choosing Lycaon in the anniversary and those that are veteran players that are just curious on how to use them. I hope you guys are happy with the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one, okay? Bye bye.